Hello children, today we are going to discuss the topic spinal cord. So last class I was discussing about the brain. So we were talking about three parts of the brain: cerebrum, cerebellum and medulla. So today we are going to study another part of the nervous system, that is the spinal cord. So as I have made a diagram out here, so this column which you can see, this is known as your spinal cord. So your spinal cord usually starts from your medulla. So your spinal cord, as you can see, you have some box kind of structure out here. These are known as your vertebrae. So in the spinal cord there are usually 33 vertebrae which combine gives you the spinal cord. So it starts from your medulla and it will end in the spine. Now this spine has a very important function. What it does, through this spine many nerves are coming out. Many nerves are coming out. Each nerve has its special role. So each nerve is attached to one of your organs. Some may be attached to your hand, some may be attached to your leg. So the function of the spinal cord is it transmits the message from the sense organ to the brain, and it will also transmit the message from the brain to the organ. So with this, spinal cord is discussed. Now we are going to talk about another topic out here, that is your nerve. So all the nerves, as you can see, which is coming out, these are your nerves. So what is the role of the nerve is these nerves are attached to each and every organ in your body. So like I already said you, all the message that is coming out from the brain has to travel through the spinal cord to the various part of the body. So that's the function of nerve. Now there are three types of nerve. First one is sensory nerve. So I am going to discuss each and every nerve with you. First one we are going to discuss is sensory nerve. Now as the name suggests, sensory nerve, it helps in transmitting message from the sense organ to the brain. Suppose your hand is having any pain. Suppose there's small cut in your finger. So that thing, it is being traveled from sensory nerve. So sensory nerve carries that message through spinal cord to your brain. Then we have motor nerve. Now what motor nerve does, after the sensory nerve carries the message to the brain, the motor nerve makes sure that any response from the brain is traveled through motor nerve to the muscle, which helps in movement. Suppose I am getting a cut in my finger and sensory nerve is carrying that message to the brain. The brain will respond through motor nerve to the muscles, and I'll pull my hand or I'll try to catch my finger and try to stop the blood. So that thing, the carrying message from brain to the organ is done by a motor nerve. And third one we have is mixed nerve. Now what this mixed nerve does is it does both the function of sensory nerve and motor nerve. So sometimes it does the work of a sensory nerve, sometimes it does the work of the motor nerve. So with this we discuss the topic spinal cord. Okay students, so the next topic which we are discussing is reflex action. So there are many actions which we perform in our daily life that happens automatically, without even thinking and without even our knowledge. Those kind of actions are known as your reflex action. Now a better example would be, suppose you are there in the kitchen and there is a hot utensils in the table. Without knowing it, suppose you touch those hot utensils. As soon as you touch it, you remove your hand. The reason behind is, in your finger you would feel the sensation of hotness. That's why you automatically remove it from your hand. So this kind of action is known as your reflex action. Suppose someone is throwing powder in your face, so your eyes automatically it closes. So this kind of actions are known as your reflex action, and this reflex action is very useful to us. Because of this action, we prevent ourselves from many accidents and many severe injuries. Now we will be discussing how this kind of reflex action is taking place in our body. So this diagram which I have made out here, it is one of the vertebrae. So before this topic we were discussing about the vertebral column, and I showed you some boxes like this. So each box is your vertebrates. So there are 33 vertebrates in your spinal cord. So this is one of the vertebrates out here. Now usually what happens, suppose this is your skin, and suppose you touch any hot object. Let us say you touch this hot cup. As soon as you touch this cup, the sensory nerve will be carrying the message, and usually what happens, the sensory nerve carries the message to your spinal cord, and your spinal cord will travel that message to the brain. But in case of reflex action, the sensory nerve will carry the message, but it will not have enough time for this sensory nerve. It will not take enough time to take the signal to the brain. So that time the signal is traveled only to the spinal cord. Now as soon as the signal is traveled to the spinal cord, as you can see, there are nerves out here. So this nerve is attached to your spinal cord, that is your sensory nerve, which I said you, which carries the signal from sense organ, and this nerve is a motor nerve which sends the signal from brain to the human body. So as you can see out here, both the nerves are attached to your vertebrae. So during reflex action, what usually happens is the signal is traveled from skin, and as soon as it reaches out here, instead of the signal going to the brain, the spinal cord itself responds to the motor nerve, and the motor nerve is attached to your muscle. So what will happen? The motor nerve will get the signal, and you will pull the hands at the back. So this shows the reflex function. Reflex action takes place with the help of the spinal cord. Why? Because if the signal has to travel to the brain, it will take some time. So during that time, the injuries might become very severe. So it's very safe that the spinal cord plays a crucial role during the reflex action by itself performing the work of a motor nerve, itself performing the work of putting or taking the hands at the back. So this is how the reflex action takes place with the help of the spinal cord. So with this, the topic, I would like to close it out here. So later on, I will be sending you some questions related to the topic. Thank you.